It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America and around the planet, we are Red Eye Radio. I'm Gary McNamara. He is Eric Harley. Well, checking out sports scores from last night. In the Congressional baseball game, the Republicans beat the Democrats 31-11. Man, there's so many things that we could say. Let's put it this way. The Democrats could not put a pitch over the plate. They walked a ton of batters.
Well, they started by trying to convince everyone that they didn't want to keep score. Holding true to their agenda in public schools. Also, they said, it doesn't matter if we lose, we still get a trophy. I'm not wrong.
They were very upset. There was no equity in that game last night.
Yeah. Exactly.
None. Republicans dominated from the beginning. When I saw the score, I went, wait a minute. Because when I woke up, I'd seen, in the fifth inning, it's 19-5. I'm like, no, it's got to be something else. It's not a baseball score. And then I saw the final score, 31-11. I'm like, that's a football.
Exactly.
That's a football score in the Canadian Football League. That would be the 11. Somebody apparently let a punt go into the end zone.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's just like 31-11.
What?
What's going on here? And the best one was playing the audio earlier as we did. We may have that as our audio cut of the day. Dan Goldman striking out, but I was watching some of the tape. The Democrat pitchers could not keep it. I mean, they just had no pitching at all. They need to go. I think they need to go to a softball game.
Yeah,
because they were pitching from the regular mound. I mean, I forgot who was pitching for the Democrats, but Byron Donalds was up, and it was 3-0. This pitcher couldn't even get it near the plate, and so Byron Donalds starts swinging at balls that are way outside, just trying to get some hit, and then and he tried twice and missed the ball because it was so far from the plate. And then when it was 3-2, he just sat there and they pitched him wide again. And he was walked, and I'm like, my gosh, I don't think that pitcher got one pitch over the plate. It was really bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Maybe they go to horseshoes or something, a game that no one really knows how to play.
Hey, did I tell you, what is it, a week from a week from tomorrow, I'm heading back to Buffalo for my family reunion.
All right.
And I didn't know if I was going to be able to go, but we were able to get the time off to do it, get a 3-day weekend for that weekend so I can go. Mm-hmm. And it's time to defend. We're trying to three-peat here, myself and my cousin John.
Ah, okay.
In our bocce ball, 2 years in a row, we've won.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years in a row.
I forget bocce ball. What is that?
You throw a little pebble way out, out into the grass. Then everybody has like little bowling balls, and you have to get it closest to that little pin that's out there. And somebody throws it out, then you just lawn bowling, they used to call it.
Okay. Right.
And so
no guns involved or anything.
No guns.
Ah,
no
okay.
no guns. No shooting. No.
All right.
I mean, you're going after a target, the tiny little ball that you're trying to get it. And you can knock people out and get your ball closest to it.
Not literally hit them. You mean take their ball out of play?
Yeah, take their ball out of play.
Yeah. Because it would be wrong to be hitting family members.
And the thing is, last year in front of all my my cousins and everything else, I pulled my cousin John and said, "Okay, now we need to understand and recognize the champions of last year." And they're like, "Shut up!"
Right.
So I get.
Well, you want to do the honors of the whole Hall of Fame thing induction. You need to do that. The Ring of Honor, whatever you want to call it.
Let me say that the ring, the bocce ball
MVPs.
Ring of Honor.
The whole awards thing. Do that first.
But I'm sure they're expecting it after last year. Goes, oh, God, he's going to give a speech again.
Yeah.
After 2 years, it's sort of my Al Bundy speech.
Yeah.
It's what it's like.
Yeah, well, no, that's how you've clearly become the franchise, It's a
yes.
It's a terrific opportunity to say, look, this doesn't happen but once in a lifetime. So all of you losers need to get used to it. This is how it is.
Now, that's not the real reason I want to go. The real reason I want to go is because my dad will go, and my aunts and my dad, everybody's, there's.
So they'll all
alive.
get to see your speech. That's perfect.
So they can all hear my
other
speech.
Reason for them to want to go. So
no, just to get to see my aunts and my dad together because they're all in their 90s.
Yeah.
And so it's great to see that, and it's great to see all the cousins,
Sure, yeah.
There, and supporting their parents that are all of them are in their 90s, which is, all of them now. My dad's 98, so everybody's over 90 now.
Yeah.
And so that's
good.
That's
a good thing.
That's cool. That's really, really cool to have. My father is the only, because they had 10 kids. My father is the only male sibling left. Except for the youngest one, my Uncle Jim, but he won't be making it up. He lives in Florida, so he won't be making it up. But, my dad is the only one that actually usually shows every year of the male siblings.
Right.
So, it'll be fun.
Good.
All right. So yesterday, the whole Merrick Garland thing, which we discussed, the one thing that we had talked about yesterday, we said, boy, the Republicans better pound on the whole suspected ISIS-K terrorists coming in the country. And I'm telling you, it was just yesterday, just with Bill Malugin alone from Fox News, showing the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General saying, we're just letting people in. We're not even vetting them.
Right.
And the federal government isn't even cooperating with. The federal government is not cooperating in helping to vet people that come into the country. But then you had the interview with the director of ICE who said, well, as we said, so many of these people, they come from countries where we have no idea who they are.
Right.
There's no reporting. There's no nothing. They're from dangerous parts of the world and we allow them in.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can't do that. We have to know who people are that are coming into this country. And so you had the 8 suspected members of ISIS-K. Just understand ISIS-K, if people have memories and don't live in the bubble of today, the attack on that theater in Russia, where over 140 people were killed, that was ISIS-K. And according to the reports, one of the members was talking about bomb building. And so I don't know any more than that they were discussing bomb building here. And it's unbelievable that we're allowing this to go on. Democrats don't care, but Republicans were out in force yesterday. Here's Senator Ron Johnson saying, look, it's not just Biden, it's the Democrats.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's face it, it's not just Joe Biden, it's the Democrat. It's their open border policy. It's a clear and present danger to this country. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And talking about full vetting, there's no such thing. What are we supposed to check the database of potential terrorists from Tajikistan and rely on that? When I was down there at the border last time, the goal the administration set for CBP to encounter, process, and disperse was 8 hours. That's not called full vetting. Of course, you have 2 million people gotaways. Either we detect them coming across or we don't even know they came across. It's an estimate. 2 million people, we have no idea who those folks are. So there's no such thing as full vetting. And these 8 individuals, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Now, I guess it's like 14 suspected terrorists were on the terrorist watch list during the Trump administration. All right. So that was 14. 357 that they've caught.
Right.
That's not the gotaways or the ones that they've allowed in the country. For example, the 350, whatever it is, 47 doesn't count. The 8 that got in because they weren't vetted. And so you and I both knew when they said, well, they've been fully vetted. Well, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, there is no way to fully vet them.
Right. Here's Ted Cruz yesterday talking about it with Sean Hannity.
We are today at a greater risk for a major terrorist attack than at any time since September 11th. And we have seen for 3.5 years a wide open border, effectively an invitation from Joe Biden and the Democrats for terrorists to come into this country. We have seen Customs and Border Patrol instructed to be on the lookout for Hamas terrorists, be on the lookout for Hezbollah terrorists, be on the lookout for Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorists. All of them have called for jihad against America. Iran has called for jihad against America. And you look at these 8 Tajik terrorists that came in, they came in from Tajikistan, that they have ties to ISIS-K, the radical terrorist group. They crossed the border illegally at the southern border. They were apprehended. Joe Biden had them. The Democrats had them. All he had to do was put the terrorists on a plane and send them home, but they didn't. They, quote, vetted them, which means he patted them on the back of the head and said, I guess we need more terrorists, and they let them go. And understand the news you just broke. Everyone needs to understand what this is. The FBI caught them in a sting for terrorism across 3 cities, New York, L.A., and Philadelphia. ISIS-K, the Tajiks and ISIS-K are the same people that carried out the terror attack in Moscow, Russia, that killed 145 people at an opera house. And sadly, Sean, we're living on borrowed time because the Democrats are opening the door and laying out the red carpet for terrorists to come and threaten the lives of Americans.
You know, as you and I talk about the fact that the Democrats have gone so wild on so many things that we sit here and it's like, my gosh, we sound like, you know, over the top radicals. But the fact is, because Republicans were talking about it yesterday, I still don't know one Democrat who said this has to stop.
Right.
Maybe Fetterman, maybe Manchin, but other than that, they are fully behind allowing terrorists and terrorist suspects into the country. They don't care. Think about that. You have a major political party in the United States that is okay. That not only are many of them pro-terrorist when it comes to Israel, but they want terrorists inside the United States. Otherwise, you'd stop the policy. You'd be screaming bloody murder as the Republicans are, but no Democrat is against the president. And even if they're against it, it's, mild objection. Well, yeah, we have to do something, instead of saying, are we out of our freaking minds?
And this is the house they built. Because even if you wanted to object, what are you going to do? Call out the leader of your party?
Yeah.
Just weeks before the convention? I'm sorry, virtual convention? Or whatever it's going to be?
And that wasn't the only thing, just last week. And Bill Mnuchin had it. Didn't get any publicity really last week, but it came out on June 7th. The Department of Homeland Security Inspector General.
Yeah.
Scathing review of the Department of Homeland Security. And the thing is, I remember the debate on the Department of Homeland Security, and I said, no, we don't need another bureaucracy. You've got the FBI.
Right.
Expand the FBI. And I was just blown out of the water by my listeners. No, we need the Department of Homeland Security. Well, here we are now, 23 years later, with the Department of Homeland Security that has got nothing to do with Homeland Security.
They're a travel agency.
There are travel agencies for anybody who wishes to come in, and they're the express lane for even any suspected terrorists who wish to come in, because we know one of the suspected terrorists came in through the app program.
Right.
And so now the Department of Homeland Security exists to make your life less safe, not to protect the homeland, but to make the homeland a more dangerous place to live.
Right.
The opposite of why they exist is the behavior that they're involved with.
Yep.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, Trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
A slight adjustment up in all U.S. orange production forecasts for June. Mark Hudson of USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service says a less than 1% increase in orange production is reflected in a similar forecast for the only state reporting this month, Florida.
An all orange for this month for Florida was 17,860,000 boxes, which is actually up 60,000 boxes from last month.
Breaking down Florida orange production by Valencia and non-Valencia varieties.
For non-Valencias, it went from 6.8 million boxes down to 6.76 million boxes. In other words, it's down 40,000 boxes or 1% from last month. And for our Valencias, is 11.1 million boxes compared to last month's 11 million even boxes. So that's actually up 1%.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So on the border, we know it. I mean, with Christopher Wray recently testified, Merrick Garland recently testified, everybody's scared to death about the possibility of terrorists coming into the country on the southern border.
Yeah.
And the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General just did their audit, and it came out late last week. Bill Maloogian from Fox News, who's been covering the border and doing a great job at it, brought it to everybody's attention yesterday. The new concerning report from the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General concludes Department of Homeland Security has not been effectively screening non-citizens and asylum seekers. The Border Patrol cannot access all the federal data to complete thorough screening and vetting. And their conclusion, the Department of Homeland Security will remain at risk of admitting dangerous persons into the country or enabling asylum seekers who may pose significant threats to public safety and national security to continue to reside in the United States. My
You
God.
overwhelm the system. You open the floodgates and overwhelm the system to the point that it can't perform under what it should be doing, what Border Patrol agents should be doing, instead of just basically processing people through and pointing them in the right direction. There's no way for them to actually do this. Sorry, stay in your country of origin until we know more about you. Well, they're not going to have that. The border's open. And not only that, our Secretary of Homeland Security is going to go on the Sunday morning news shows, and he's going to tell you all the multiple ways to get in. We're making it easy. We're a travel agency now.
Well, that's what he did.
Yep.
He went. You and I, when we saw the interview, we were sort of taken back.
Yeah, I mean,
we were like
crazy.
We're like, wow, he's actually. We're looking
He's
at each other,
bragging.
going, he's actually bragging. He's not saying that we're slowing down.
No,
what's going to happen at the border? What he was saying was
he's boasting.
We've created an express lane.
Yes.
We'll fly in. You don't have to go to the border. You don't have to deal with the cartels.
Right.
We'll fly in, or you can use the app.
Right. We'll make it so easy for you to get here.
Understand, though, again, I didn't vote for it. You didn't vote for it. Our listeners didn't vote for it. But the majority of voters in the United States voted for this insanity.
Yep.
They voted to allow terrorists in the country.
Yep.
Because that's what the Democrats are doing, and the Democrats don't feel as if they're threatened yet.
Right.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
It's Friday Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Very quickly, I want to play this. Oh, wait a minute! Don't put me up yet. Here, I'm having some problems with some things here.
All right.
I want to play this audio cut here. This audio cut comes from a local radio or local TV station, Fox 8. I don't know where though, but I just wanted because they don't say. But I wanted to play this because we talked about the inflation numbers yesterday, and this is one of the greatest points. And it's a point that when the inflation numbers come out, it's not just the national media that will cover it, but local media. And so I can't tell what city. I'm looking at the city there, and I cannot tell what city it is. But it was Fox 8. But here's the back and forth between the local anchor and an economist that he's interviewing, okay?
Okay.
Here we go.
People aren't focused on CPI. They're focused on, at the grocery store, food costs more than it used to.
Yeah, and we're not seeing it come down. We're not seeing it come down. It costs more for wages of food and for owners.
And that's basically it. I mean, it's clipping out on me for some reason.
Well, it's the essence of what we have been saying.
Exactly.
People experience this every day. They look
Right.
at their receipts. They're the ones that have to pay for this. And so by the time the report comes out for May, they've already paid for it. That was last month. They already know what inflation was like last month, and they don't see it. They don't see those prices coming down.
Yeah, now, last month wasn't as bad as the 3 previous months.
Right.
But when you look at the future projections, even from the Fed, when the Fed is putting out more negative news than they did 3 months ago after their 2-day meeting, that's something to worry about because they are the ultimate optimists. Remember that it wasn't permatory; it was transitory.
Yeah, right.
And now inflation, as we all know, is suppository.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Richard, for that.
Yeah.
But here, I want to play this audio. This is Tom Homan, who ran Immigration Customs Enforcement under President Trump. Now, this guy is, if you want to call him a firecracker, whenever he testifies before Congress, you can't beat this guy.
Yeah.
You ever see when the left tries to go up? Remember AOC trying to go after him one time? He just destroyed her.
Yeah.
But here he is on Fox News yesterday because this is really, it's insane. And we said the media and the Republicans have to promote the daylights out of this week and pound on it. And we're talking about the 8 migrants who were brought into this country over the last year and a half that ended up being suspected ISIS-K terrorists and arrested by the FBI in a sting. Here's Homan talking about this and talking about the fact, by the way, it's no coincidence they're all hiding in sanctuary cities.
Exactly.
Do you think it's a coincidence that these 8 were arrested in Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and New York, all sanctuary cities? The worst of the worst will go to sanctuary cities where they know they'll be protected, because the local law enforcement is not allowed to work with ICE. Any of these 8 people could have been arrested for a crime in New York or Philadelphia, and guess what? They're going to be released from jail. No one's going to call ICE. This is why the sanctuary cities are a sanctuary for criminals. They're a sanctuary for terrorists. And the latest information this morning, most were arrested in Philadelphia, with the remainder in New York. Only one was arrested in California. But again, a shout out to New York, where the governor supports this mass illegal immigration. Your mayor supports it. Your 2 senators, Schumer and Hildebrand, support it. Philadelphia, sanctuary city, their governor and mayor supports it. The people listening to this broadcast need to call your elected officials and demand they secure this border and protect America.
That part of it. But where's the president on this? He needs to speak now. He just put an executive action into flow. He signed it. He said that this was going to be the first step in solving the problem, and it blew up. This time last week, we had 10,000 people cross the border. And on Monday of this week, we had 1,000 people cross in Southern California. Look, extrapolate that out. That 2,500 number, is it likely that we hit that on Monday if 1,000 people on Monday alone came across in one state?
I can tell you this, Harris. I see the reports every day. I got my sources. I see the reports every day. There's been 5,000 or more every day since he signed that proclamation.
All right, so pause 1 second there. I can do the math. I know what they're doing. It's an average of 2,500. So what they're hoping for is maybe later in the week it goes down, and then they do the average, divide by 7, and it comes out close to 2,500 or 2,499. But from the numbers you and I are talking about now, that's mathematically not really possible.
It's not. And look, the bottom line is, anybody can look at the videos that Bill Maloogian has or other people on the field. There was 4,900 arrested yesterday crossing the border between CBP and Border Patrol. And it runs around 5,000 every day. And this administration done nothing. They haven't done a single thing since he's been in the White House to slow the flow. They just send more resources to the border to process quicker and release quicker. And Border Patrol can't do the job. These 8 people that were released, they can't do investigative interviews because they got such a mass of people coming at them. They take biometrics, they take fingerprints, and they're out the door. They don't have time to do investigative interviews like they should be doing because they're overwhelmed. And this administration did this on purpose. This isn't mismanagement. This isn't incompetence. They opened this border on purpose. He ran on it. And you got to give Biden credit. He kept his promise. We have open borders, and now we're in the biggest national security vulnerability I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's not going to get any better until we decide as a nation it has to stop.
Well, you have a major political party that is for terrorists coming across the southern border.
And giving protection to those same terrorists as they hide out in the sanctuary cities created by those liberals.
Yep. Now, I know people say, well, come on. Well, look.
Where are we wrong on that?
Yeah, where are we wrong?
Those are the facts.
Where is the over-the-top rhetoric on it? This is not over-the-top rhetoric. It's simply observing reality.
By
Democrats
law,
are pro-terrorists.
And by law, those local authorities can't cooperate with federal authorities.
Yeah. But it was created by the Democrat legislatures with support of Democrat governors in those states and supported by the mayors and city councils of those cities. That's why you can say across the board, they know terrorists are coming in. They know it. It's not hidden. No. And they're okay with it, which means they're pro-terrorism against United States citizens. And I know it sounds like it's over-the-top rhetoric. Please tell me where I am wrong on anything that I have said or you have said.
Well, and think of the one who came through using the app.
Yeah.
That's kind of a pre-screening thing, using an app. That's how we're going to run national security?
Yeah. It's the express lane.
Yeah, of course. Come on in. We'll figure it out later.
I mean, it's just, God, it's absolutely pure insanity.
And the enemy knows this. We've created a safe haven for the enemy right here in the U.S. Multiple safe havens. Wherever sanctuary city policy, sanctuary county policy, sanctuary state policy, wherever that applies, they know it. And that's where they go. Because they know the law is going to work in their favor.
And finally, the Democrat insanity audio cut of the day. Morning Joe.
Okay.
Talking about the fact that Biden is absolutely fine. It's Trump that is having the cognitive problems.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Okay.
I mean, you can't make this crap up. Here we go.
Again, it's just like the way we started this show. Trump is literally crazy on stage, and I say it not in a good way. Not well, not fit, not mentally capable of holding together a sentence when his prompter goes down. And yet Biden is constantly covered for being old, but yet travels onto the world stage doing speeches, dinners, important ceremonies, recognizing people who suffered and survived D-Day, spending time with them, connecting with them. You see it all on video. Except if you go to these places or you talk to those Republicans, you see the one time where he couldn't find his chair.
Well, but even that was a lie. It's disinformation. It's doctrine.
This is where we are right now.
It's lies versus the truth. It really is. And let Republicans keep lying about Joe Biden. It's only going to help him in the end. It's only going to lower expectations so much that he's going to come out and do what he does at every State of the Union address. He's going to outperform because of all the lies that are told about him.
He's gonna outperform. That's the problem. That's why he's not going to be at the G7 dinner, because he's going to outperform everybody else. He's going to make them look bad.
Well, and that's why apparently 54% of Democrats in the latest poll don't want him to run.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to them.
Yeah, and
yeah,
apparently Democrats,
because they're watching watching the far right.
They're watching Fox News and Newsmax all the time.
That's right.
That's what's happening. That's what Democrats
not
are
only
watching
it, believing it.
Right, exactly. Right.
Going along with it. He can't go to the G7 dinner because he's too busy being mentally competent. That's what they want you to believe. When we know the opposite is true.
Well, I mean, but it's the entire lunacy of the the whole Merrick Garland now contempt of Congress, because he doesn't want to release the audio transcript, and everybody knows why.
I mean, they're fighting this thing.
Right. Everybody knows why, because really, you've got this is how bizarre things are. They don't want the tape released because they said Republicans will alter it somehow with AI.
Mm-hmm.
And our response is, yeah, and only Republicans want this. Only Republicans. It's only the Republicans. No. As was pointed out, the Associated Press wants it.
Yeah.
They've sued for it. The Associated Press, Bloomberg, the networks. I don't know if CNN's a part of it. I know the Washington Post is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
They all want the audio of this.
Right.
They want it. And Merrick Garland won't give it to them. Why? It's not executive privilege because you've already given them the text. Again, editing parts of the text by adding or taking away ands and things like that, words like that in the text, which he didn't deny when accused of it. We watched that very closely. Merrick Garland did not deny it under testimony that it was changed. The text was changed. You've got her stating, look, he doesn't have the mental capability of standing trial.
Right.
The White House disagrees and says, no, he does have the mental. That's completely wrong. Her is making this up. It doesn't exist. In fact, Biden has the problem with Biden is nobody can keep up with him. Oh, then you say that her should prosecute him. So which way are the Republicans going to alter this audio? Are they going to alter it to make him look more competent?
Right.
So he stands trial, or less competent so he doesn't stand trial, but they win the election.
And there's
just a zoo.
There's their conundrum. And the problem, too, is, I mean, you have Merrick Garland, again, who won't deny that they edited the text, the transcript. But he's already pre-accusing others of editing the recording. Well, hold on a second. What's edited? The people deserve to know. There is no executive privilege here. That's gone.
No, they don't have a case.
They really don't.
They're going to lose it, but it will be after the election where they have to.
Yeah, they're fighting it tooth and nail.
Yeah.
They're fighting it tooth and nail. You have to ask why.
About the delusion on MSNBC on Morning Joe. Yes, dear. Dear, what's your delusion for the day?
Yes, that's right. Honey, remind me of how outraged I am.
Mika, how crazy am I going to sound on the air today?
Listen. According to my wife, my opinion is the following. Oh, my gosh.
He's taken yes, dear to the trillionth power.
Oh, yeah. This goes far beyond the yes, dear.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, Trump going to meet, I believe, today now with Republican leaders, including McConnell, who McConnell endorsed him yesterday.
Yeah,
said I will support. As I said way back when, I'm going to support the nominee, and he's going to do it.
Yep.
And he was awake when he said it.
Yeah,
but that's the unity that you see with Republicans right now. Republicans sense as they should, that this is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, sure. Nancy Mace actually kind of survived a challenge, and she said after winning that yesterday, she was on Fox News, and she said, "Look, I understand there are people within my party that don't get it," and she goes, "I know we're going to have moderates, we're going to have people on the far right, and everything in between," and she said, "It's time for the party to come together." That's kind of I wouldn't say a big move for her, but that certainly is in line with where the party seems to be right now. And that is, we can have our differences, but we got to come together.
I think the lawfare has scared the hell out of Republicans about what Democrats will do, like the Twitter files scared those liberal reporters who now are rejecting what the Democrats stand for.
Yeah, it's real. Exactly.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.